In late July 2024, we will be receiving the first budget of the new government. What's going to be sitting within the fine print is going to be something which everyone will be watching. But there's also a couple of aspects which are emerging as the budget comes through. One, in the last year or two, we are seeing the success of the tax policy, which has shown a tax buoyancy, which has propelled the tax revenues to be at all-time highs. So some of the reforms that were taken up by the previous 5 years are now yielding results, whether it's on the corporate tax rationalization or whether it's on the GST. So the government is going to be approaching this budget with a degree of confidence that they have taken the right choices previously. And of course, that has led to a strong tax buoyancy in the country. That's one. B, the government is also going to be looking at the competitiveness that it is driving into the Indian economy through its various measures. For example, in the years before the GST, for example, coming in, the tax intensity was about 15% and the revenue neutral rate was around 15%. Today, it's about 12%. What does it mean? That means that from a tax that sits in the pricing of goods and services, there's been a 3 percentage point efficiency that has been brought in. Now, the question really is that will the government take the same approach to try and make sure that the efficiency is brought into the tax system, which allows India to be more competitive going forward in the areas of the choice that India is making for its growth momentum. And India is making its growth momentum in services, and therefore there's going to be a look for whether or not the government brings around some level of incentives around that. For example, is the government going to be trying to make sure that there is going to be some tax incentives for job creation in the white collar sectors or in the GIC sectors and in the R&D space? Are they going to bring in tax incentives? The second is around the manufacturing sector, which is where a lot of blue-collar jobs are hoped to be created and a lot of export intensity to be built into the Indian economy. And the question really is whether the PLI scheme will receive even further impetus or whether the corporate tax rate for new manufacturing will get renewed for a period of time. There will also be a lookout for whether some of the incentives which deal with infrastructure, for example, the capital flows which come in from the pension funds and sovereign funds, will that get an extra leg of life of 3 to 5 years for greater investment flows to come in? I think one of the aspects which is there is that the government is listening. The government has been listening through the pre-budget sessions which they've had with industry and with advisors. And I think it's going to assimilate a lot of the key proposals which are going to be growth driven and bring those proposals into the budget. This budget could also be the roadmap that the government takes for the next 5 years by outlining what they want to do in relation to A, the direct taxes code, which they wanted to bring in, which is a revamped and a more simplified tax regime. B, what they want to do on the global minimum tax, which India has signed up for. So I think there will be some specific recommendations which will come in, but there will also be some long-range forecasting of where the tax policy goes that will be pronounced as a part of this budget. So let's watch the space for this.